Okay, welcome everyone. It's my privilege now to once again introduce a close friend, a person who needs no introduction, uh, a known name in the country and abroad in the area of accessibility and assistive technology for the visually impaired, DipenderManocha. When we think of Saksham, we know that he is a managing trustee. When we think of NAB, Delhi, we know that he is a vice president. When we think of the DAISY Forum of India or the DAISY Consortium, the only name that comes to our mind is Dipender. And DAISY is the buzzword in accessibility and information technology for the visually impaired these days. So we are really happy to have you, Dipender, with us. He's a close friend of AIC, always been there, a close personal friend, also a very positive person who genuinely believes in the empowerment of the visually impaired and equality in the real sense of the word. But today, Dipender, we are requesting you to speak on a slightly different topic, technology, but with reference to the organization management and organization functioning. I must tell you that during COVID-19, Saksham has done wonderful work. They have functioned throughout with the staff, they have enabled them through technology, and they continue their activities. So that would be a good experience for us to listen to. Dipender, you have approximately half an hour with you for your presentation, and then around 5, 7, or 10 minutes for a question. Half an hour for presentation and 5 to 10 minutes for a question. So thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neja. I don't address you normally like that, but yes, on this forum, obviously.
But I still continue to address you as Dipender. I didn't say Mr. DipenderManocha.
No, absolutely. But yes, so this is absolutely wonderful to be amongst the AICB family and discussing about this very crucial issue. So, like we do it for persons with disabilities, that we enhance our functional capabilities with the help of technology. So same thing applies to organizations, and we can function better, we can be more resilient to face various eventualities if we are using appropriate technologies within our own systems and our own organizations. Of course, COVID has actually put all these things into the test like never before. Um, we, in a way, feel that because we were pushing technology so hard, both in terms of the users and also because the um we also say that because we were working on technologies, um, we in a way were preparing in a way for COVID for past 25 years. It really seems like it, because all those facilities that we had been asking or pushing for, which had a different meaning before COVID, assumed a completely different dimension when it came to remote working and uh, all these kind of lockdowns. Um, Saksham has a staff strength of about 90 persons. Um, and I think the biggest achievement that happened was that with the kind of such a urgent and without warning lockdown that we went into, in spite of that, we actually remained functional. Saksham remained functional even in the initial days. Right on the day of the first lockdown, also, Saksham remained functional. And so we didn't know in the month of March, that this kind of a lockdown is coming. Yet, um, just in December before that, so 3 months before that, was the launch of SecTech.in online portal for providing assistive technology solutions, which was one of the functions. We had converted all our accessible book production system into an online system. So web technologies were being used, were deployed. So I'll share few of the good practices, easy to do things that enable us to remain functional and remain efficient. It has, over the period of time, increased our efficiency, But yes, as I said, during time of COVID, it became the lifeline for existence and being operational. Um, so, first of all, let's discuss about few of the quick tips kind of things, which are not very formal kind of documents or softwares kind of discussions, but simple to use things that can really have a big impact on the way we function and the kind of confusions that prevail within the organization, how to avoid those. So first thing is that we actually have two subscriptions in Saksham. One is that we have invested money in taking Microsoft Office licenses, which gives us on the cloud storage system, shared storage system. Now that what that actually means is that all the important documents and the documents which where multiple people have to refer to those documents, the organizational documents, or in a way, the old times organizational file cabinet, now the digital form of it resides on a shared cloud storage. And this means that all these documents that we need to keep referring to, including all our project proposals, what is the latest reports, what proposal was sent last year, which is the proposal sent this year, our quarterly or monthly reports for these project delivery. All those things are there in the shared folder, which is not there for the entire world to see, but this is a internal organizational access. In fact, what we can actually do here is that we can create folders which are shared only amongst the organizational staff which are directly connected with it. So that facility also is very much available. So you can decide who would get access to the subfolders within this cloud storage. So that has actually made a huge difference, because now we are no longer dependent on one single person to give us all the information. The information is readily available for anybody who wants to refer to it, because so many types of different negotiations, different communications are happening within the organization with our donors, with our partners, with our beneficiaries. So many things are happening, and we have ready access to all these crucial papers, including our annual reports, our account statements, our, as I said, the ongoing projects or different proposals that we have to work to. Somebody today comes in, they say that, okay, we have some funds, we need quick access to a proposal. The already created proposals list are shared, and we can create very quickly, bring out a new proposal based on that, because we have access to those documents which are very well structured and kept on this cloud storage. That is one thing. Second, very interesting thing that we did was that we uh, connected connected our org. Uh, this is some disturbance happening in. So the Saksham.org domain we connected to, and we took a subscription on Google also. So there, what benefit we have is that we have mail IDs of all the staff mail IDs on Saksham.org. So it's Rami at Saksham.org or Anjana at Saksham.org. So all our people who are working here in Saksham are all there on Saksham.org, domain. It helps in kind of brand building on one hand. You are Whenever the mails are going, we are sounding more professional. Our outgoing things becomes. But the major thing, actually, another thing, that a huge benefit that we got by linking it up with a service like Google, was that Google Meet, it became very easy for us to conduct our meetings. So all those group meetings which were happening within teams in Saksham physically before the lockdown, we were able to shift it to online uh, very easily without it almost happened seamlessly, because all that we had to do was that, say if there is a meeting happening to discuss an MOU being signed with an organization, so the team would simply say, okay, our nickname is MOU, just join a meeting. So 4 or 5 people would simply just enter that nickname because we are on the same domain, everybody. So this kind of facility we get for anybody who's on saksham.org domain email ID can join based on nicknames a meeting call. So there's no need for setting up of a new, creating a new link for a meeting, scheduling and all that. All that is also possible. You can just go to Google Calendars, create a scheduled meeting and share that link with anybody in the world. But within the organization, this kind of calling became so easy actually with this subscription. One of the most used communication tool now, uh, because we still are not working 100% on campus, because we have actually found a lot of benefits working from home. Uh, I am still not sure whether we will actually revert back to 100% staff back on the premises ever again. But I mean, time will tell how much will that happen. But so this kind of meetings are helping us shifting to and being very efficient on this. So one was this. What we are actually now also done is that we are also invested some money on is some equipment for hybrid meetings. So what it, and that is also big organizational savior for us. What a lot of cost saving is happening with that, because meetings, it is to make them very effective. We normally say, there's nothing to beat a face-to-face meeting. I still agree with that, but to what extent? What is the percentage of meeting satisfaction if we are doing an hybrid versus online versus face-to-face? What is the kind of level of efficiency that can be gained? And we have found that investing in this equipment, which allows, like, it's a speaker with very strong microphones, so that if there are 5 7 people sitting in a room and they are interacting with 5 7 people sitting in somewhere else, so how do we, or just want to include 4 5 people who are joining from remote participation like we are doing here today, and there are 4 5 people sitting together in a room who are joining. So how to connect all these people together is can be done by selecting appropriate equipment. This what equipment we use is obviously changing very fast. If we have already invested in kind of a public address system for conference room, that can actually be connected to such online meetings very easily, and that creates a wonderful hybrid meeting. But there are simple to use tools, also good quality equipment. If we invest in, we can actually have very fruitful thing. And especially amongst persons with blindness, since we are already in any case not seeing each other's faces, being a person with blindness, we are in any case in doing it with audio. So this kind of equipment can help a lot in having very fruitful, meaningful meetings without the need of spending a lot of time and money resources in traveling to just to be together for a call. But yeah, I mean, a lot of ways this, I'm not saying that this is going to replace it completely, but yes, it is going to, a lot of these meetings can actually shift to this. We also can extend our these things to tools like SharePoint or other things which allow, which we keep using from time to time for this kind of document sharing, meetings, meeting related documents, etc. All those can be very well organized and shared. Uh, Another kind of facility that like OneDrive subscription, for example, for our organization, what it also gave us, or we can do it using Google Docs, is like multiple people working on a single document. So if you are preparing a proposal on which two or three people have to work on, this actually allows beautifully. So if I'm having a Word document open from OneDrive, which is actually shared, coming from a shared folder with two people, on real time, what changes I'm making are also getting reflected on the Word document which another person has actually opened um, on their computer and working on it. So working on, and this is fairly accessible. We are using it with screen reading software and working on these documents, collaboratively. That is a reality for us. Another thing that really helps is to maintain proper databases of whether it is for the contacts, databases, but the databases of our users, etc., is has become very big asset. I mean, the data of our members, the data of our people whom we outreach to, who to whom we provide our products and services. Uh, this kind of a data is become a real asset, and if we are able to maintain that data properly, even if requires any specialized configurations, we have definitely spent money on creating such kind of things, because there are a lot of things that we can do with if we have this kind of a data system. What is it that we can use it for? So for example, we have a very common problem in India, that somebody who's we're several smaller organizations providing part of that whole solution for an individual. We obviously do not claim that everything is being provided by us. Any single individual will go for multiple things in multiple organizations. So if somebody comes to me for computer training and now wants to go for employment opportunities, placement services to another organization, how does that handing over happens? So in fact, even right now, exploring how multiple organizations can create a common database with adequate protection of privacy of data, on how we can use data mining facilities to, because it throws amazing results, amazing findings, if on it. How many people are actually who took, say, to whom we provided services, how effective or how impactful were we? How many of them actually started using services or went to the next step of using those services? Sky is the limit. This kind of a data can be for a very simple thing, like somebody came to us 1 year ago, took some service. After 2 years, a person is coming again saying that, okay, I need subsidy on a smartphone again. Are we just providing services again and again to the same person, or we are being able to spread our the benefits of our services to a much wider, larger population thing? All that will depend whether we actually were able to maintain the data properly, which is searchable, which is, where we are able to, as we say, we are able to filter the data results out based on gender or various other parameters, so that appropriate time, without wasting so much of time, we are able to uh, take decisions, very crucial decisions, on what kind of services next have to come through. So this is a very big area. It's not trivial, and as I said, we are really exploring very seriously on how multiple organizations can actually create common databases. Like we are already a network. The All India Confederation of the Blind is already a family. Can actually this family create a common database of themselves, of their beneficiaries together? That will see the kind of impact that would create, um, and you will be able to generate with it. We also, for project management also, there are several tools. So like if we have to have a discussion, how quickly are we able to generate? So something is called mind mapping, so we are discussing about what needs to be done. And, and obviously those things have to be quickly put in a proper structure, and so that that can help us create a full project management tool based on it. So this is called uh, we sometimes have been using this tool called X Mind. Now this tool, we are taking notes, we are putting a structure, a tree structure of whatever we are discussing on various issues, activities related to it, uh, the budgeting, etc., can come on it. Who is going to do it? What time the project, this particular task has to be done? All those things can be added while this planning on, and these tools help us do all that plan and export those captured data in Excel quickly, and that really helps us create good plans in a quick time, and helps us do the project management, effective project management based on these tools. These are very helpful tools, very time-saving tools, and just increases our efficiency. Another simple tool which we have been using is like if there are multiple organization, multiple key persons who have to attend a meeting, finding a common time has been a big issue. So we often use something called Doodle, DOODLE, and we just put like, okay, these are the 5 possible timings. Please choose, and where in whichever time the most number of people can be made available is chosen as a time for the meeting. So this is another very useful tool that. Now let me shift to another domain, which is the of a lot of us are actually involved in education, providing education services to either we are resource center or special schools ourselves, and there is a whole domain of learning management system, LMS systems, which are there. Um, so COVID has obviously shifted a lot of schools to something like Google Classrooms or Microsoft Teams is being used extensively for uh, having classes, conducting classes online. But besides conducting classes online and sharing assignments here, we can actually create complete online courses. And these courses, these platforms to host such online courses are actually called these learning management systems, commonly LMS. Um, edX is one of the open source platforms on which we can create our own learning management websites. Similarly, there is this WordPress, which is a common tool for creating websites, also offer a very good online course hosting solution. Last year, of course, was very special because we shifted few of our trainings online. This came as one of my assignments for Daisy Consortium, where I'm an employee. We had to conduct trainings in 10 countries on how to produce accessible books, and we were to go and do it face to face when the lockdown came in. And we were almost, the agency to whom we were providing services had almost decided that, okay, let's leave it, let's forget it till the situation gets normal, and we will continue our these projects after things got normal. And we know that till date also these things have not gotten normal. We would have lost all that work, but we decided to shift all that training online, and today we were first of all able to build that online system, and now also conduct all those trainings online. And whatever was to be taught through face to face, we were able to complete all those assignments using this online system. And the benefit now is that the asset that has been created for this online course is helping us scaling up like never before. The cost of delivery has gone down because now we don't have to pay for such expensive flights and hotels and these things. Now the money is spent more on trainer time rather than on traveling. So our budget of trainers time is now the major head. Earlier, the percentage of travel and logistics used to be the biggest head in conducting a training. That has completely shifted. Learning management systems are not just there for creating online courses for every individual, but this is a very useful tool even as a teaching tool for in the hands of teachers. So it may be that the user is not accessing it directly, but even if a teacher is actually accessing this common training materials, um, I know that a lot of mainstream schools had started using this very extensively. Uh, One of the examples where our students are actually going in for inclusive education, we had partnership with Shiv Nadar Foundation schools, and they in their classroom have got smart boards, etc., which are connected to their learning management system, and all the useful videos and other materials, resource materials for teachers are there on the learning management system, which increases the kind of education that teacher is providing to the class, kind of assignments that can be given, kind of materials that can be given. All those things can be taken to a complete new level if we invest in creating or subscribing to such learning management systems. There are several mainstream systems which we are actually now partnering with to make them accessible. So we have been working on inclusive education on physical schools, but now we are also working on inclusive education on these learning management systems and the online courses being offered by several agencies like Byju's or uh, and several other platforms that are actually there for us. And I don't talk about the digital libraries, it would be a big, paradox. So Sugamya Pustakalaya and the ABC Global Book Service, and those things are obviously we have been putting. But what is also possible is to create a local digital library within the organization. So we can have books for students within the library, with a library, a digital library of the organization itself. Those kind of setups are not very expensive at all, and within the premises you can provide access to books to your own students, and these can then be in line be connected to a national repository like Sugamya Pustakalaya, or a worldwide repository like ABC Global Book Service. So that whole connectivity from the user to local organization to national to international, that whole path is right there. And um, as I said, in short on this, we can really make a difference. Like my journey began with 5 accessible books to today's 5 million accessible books that I have access to. All that can be offered to students who are with us on this. Online examinations is another thing which is related to educational services, which is coming in a big way. The Blind People's Association in Ahmedabad has done very good experiments with this. They are able to conduct, objective type, very accessible objective type examinations. Of course, our normal tools like Google Classroom, etc., are there. We can do Google Forms to create quizzes and examinations where people can write if they're IT digitally empowered. Um, so, uh, so these online examinations are also becoming a very, very big success story for us. And this really is taking our dependence on writers away, which is a very, very big um, plus, actually, a desirable thing to happen. Another domain now where it comes to organizational compliances. Now we all know that uh, we have so many compliances to be bothered about. So how can technology help us in doing all those compliances? One very big good thing that we have been using is an HR management portal. So whether it is related to maintaining employee records or their PF and ESI compliances, they're making their sheets, PF sheets, etc., to be done, the leave records, leave applications, And also one of the things that we implemented that made a huge difference was this biometrics attendance machine connected directly to our HR management portal. So whenever whatever is being when you are putting a finger to this attendance machine, it is the record for the record for the for creating your leave records and your attendance to prepare your monthly salary sheets, etc. All that is almost automated actually. So that is a huge, again, time saving. It is very efficient, and it cut downs on your employee cost. Employee time can be utilized on better things. And these HR management portals are a very big, almost like I feel that it's an essential thing. And these are like, you don't need to be a huge organization to do it. There are several firms which are providing such services. Maybe just about 1,000 rupees per employee per year is the kind of cost that you pay to hire services of these HR management portals. And this can really help you a lot in maintaining all those records that you are supposed to do for an efficient organization, and to get to this the use of accounting software. Of course, the tally, etc., is being used very widely, but what enhancements it can actually do is that we found that the whole of your stock thing and cash book and those things can actually also be maintained on a software like tally. We have also subscribed for an IP based license, which means that if in a single organization, there are also net based licensing available. So in this, what happens is that, say, if somebody is receiving donations and has to cut receipts, that person can get access to a tele terminal to issue this receipt directly, and that saves a lot of duplication. And customize you we can customize the receipts, so you don't have to keep issuing receipts manually and then entering data in a tally software. Those That whole thing can be automated. So, if you're a larger organization, of course, you can invest in a complete ERP system like SAP, etc. But yes, I mean, those things are, um, better utilized when we have a much larger multi-city kind of infrastructure in place. So I'll stop my presentation here and obviously open for any kind of.
Thank you very much, Dipender. You're wonderful indeed. A new way of running organization, a new structure, a new kind of office, ordering office. And I must say, Dipender has been very successful. I know from personal experience in running Saksham during COVID time as efficiently, maybe more efficiently, and on everything. This teaches us a way that there are challenges, but solutions are always available. And I strongly believe that the way of empowerment for visually impaired person is technology in the future. If we don't upgrade, if we don't follow, we will be left behind very soon. We don't have to do much about it then. We'll be automatically left behind. And this is a fact now. This is a reality. We need to accept it and we need to do something about it. Sometimes there is a lot of resistance to technology. When online classes came, many people started saying, oh, challenges to the visually impaired in online class. Where are the challenges? I mean, I think online teaching is so comfortable for visually impaired. Given a choice, I would never like to go back to regular teaching. It's so comfortable, it's so accessible. One knows who's entering, you know how many people are participating, who are there on the in the room, who is raising hand, who is lowering hand. Everything is this thing. So let's not get resistant for the sake of getting resistant to technology. And let's not think hamara kaam to chanda hai, it's working. It doesn't matter. No, it matters. Because if we don't, soon we'll find that we can't catch up. The train has gone very far. So that's really whenever I have this in the last Sunday also in the workshop, I'm urging again, please learn technology to the optimum, enable yourself, because otherwise there's no future. There's no future, I would say, even as individuals. It's going to be a problem, serious problem, because it's catching up everywhere. Dipender rightly said that he's not sure whether they will go to 100% campus work. This is a thinking everywhere in big corporates, etc. The people don't want to go back to 100% work now. They feel much can be done without it.
This is Shyamla from TAB, sir. Sir, actually, I have a doubt that how can a person with a visual impairment do accounts work with the use of technology? How far we can do in any without any dependency?
So one thing is that yes, the data entry and the operation of Tally kind of a software is not accessible. There are alternatives. So for many years, like we did our work on BusyWin, or there are other softwares which are usable. So if if we really want access to the whole actual accounting software directly, then of course we do it. But as a founder, trustee, and as a managing person of an organization, what I do is that whatever information I need, I tell my accounts department to give me that information from the tally in an Excel sheet and give it to me, because they can export things to Excel. So I get those data whenever I require. So I don't need to work personally on accounts directly as an accountant, but I need accounts information, and whatever information I need, whatever reports I need, I get them in accessible format from them. So that's one thing. But yes, there is some advocacy work required by organizations like us and AICB on making Tally accessible, because it is today become illegal according to our PWD Act.
Then there's a concern raised by some organizations, and maybe you could address. I'm sure you will be able to. Some organizations, many in fact, want to shift to online payment systems, but there is a bit of a fear that the control would be in the hand of one person who may not be the managing person in the organization to authorize payment online, to give the pay command, and the facility can be misused at some level by the staff. I'll be very direct that you may say transfer 1 lakh rupees to ESI, and the 1 lakh, or maybe more than that, or 2 or 3 lakhs may go somewhere else. Of course, there's an OTP system. Without the OTP, nothing can transact. But in many banks, the OTP does not mention for how much amount the OTP is there. It just says OTP for so transaction on so and so is this. And then you give the OTP to a person. But then the problem is, of course, I have my own solution, but I'd like to hear from you. What would be your solutions to that kind of problem, where a staff can authorize, yet their money is of the NGO is secure?
No, so what we are actually doing for it is that like, for example, I am a signing authority in my organization, and how do I deal with it is that we have so if you give the whole transaction thing to one person, then it's an issue, and it's definitely one of the would have potential of becoming a problem. So what we have done is that we have divided the whole thing into three different parts. So obviously you first of all have to have a special login for doing transactions. So that login is with one person. Accounts person is preparing all the materials, but one of our office bearers is the person who holds the key to logging into our online banking system for doing it. And so we use TeamViewer or some other kind of things for this person to get into our accounting computer where the accountant is working, and he would enter the password for entering it,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then the OTP has to come. So I am the final signing authority. So OTP comes to my phone. So there are already three people involved in this one transaction who have to get together to make payments. So and this is something like, earlier, so in our organization, for example, two people had to sign for any check to be issued. So two signing authorities are there. So in a way, we have done this, introduced this system where we are introducing two signing authorities. One is doing by entering into giving the login thing, and that person is seeing whatever amount is getting entered into that. And I'm also getting an OTP, and luckily, whatever transaction happens through that OTP, immediately bank also sends me how much money has been transferred to whom. That OTP also comes immediately after the
Yeah.
OTP is done. So that information is actually done, and before the transaction starts, we actually get to know. So there is an approval system also. So before even the transaction starts, we know what amount has to be done, and then this transaction thing. So multiple checks are there.
But it cannot be done then regularly, suppose like 10 times a day. It has to be done maybe once a day or once in 2 days. because the office bearer may not be available all the time. These are voluntary works.
Yeah, but this is how much we pay, no? We don't keep paying the whole day. I mean,
Yeah, that's how much we pay. Right.
so in spite of like two, three different organizations, hats, and becoming a signing authority,
Yes, yeah. They also don't sign every moment. Yeah, they sign only if it once in 2 days or 3 days. Yeah.
secondly, I also keep telling them that reduce number of transactions. So like salary thing. So I don't have to approve each and every salary, 90 people. So 90 transactions would become a huge burden.
Right.
There are salary accounts. We create a whole sheet, and I just have to sign it once, and the whole 90 or whatever number is registered with that kind of a service. All those transactions
This is
happen.
online again. This is again online. Salary account is it?
No, salary account, the accounts
You
department.
have to give a check. You have to give a check to the bank.
Yeah, we have to give a check.
Yeah. So I think that's about
But during
yeah.
COVID time, this facility was offered online actually.
So,
Because during COVID lockdown, bank did offer this service.
but now
Now we have shifted back to giving our
checks. Okay.
one single check with the.
Right. Thank you, Dipender. Thank you very much. A wonderful morning, and I'm sure the new innovative ways would be used by our organizations because, as I said, these are inevitable. If not today, 2-3 years. Otherwise, who knows? There'll be one more pandemic after 5 years. Then what happens? Again, we start wondering about how to function. So one way is to not to function, but that is not the solution. So other way is to function better than before, which is a solution. So I'm sure the ideas that Dipender has suggested, the solution that they are practicing, would go a long way in ensuring that our organizations keep running smoothly, irrespective of whatever may happen. And this will also help you in cutting your staff costs, which will also be another kind of fundraising. We talked a lot about fundraising this morning. So there are other kind of you will save money on staff salaries, and that would be one more saving to the organization. Thank you, Dipender.